Hello everyone and welcome. If you are new to this series, my name is Jason. If you are a returner, welcome back, and to everyone, thanks for tuning in. I always like to start out my videos with a quick quarantine update. This will be day 17 for me since I started working from home. That includes weekends. I figured that number is a lot easier to track. And lately, I've been discovering new ways to socialize. I've been diving into a Discord server. If you don't know, Discord servers are chat servers with multiple channels and multiple voice channels and all kinds of integration with bots and streaming and Twitch streams. Very cool way to stay connected with your friends and even YouTubers. So I dove into managing my own Discord server. So I added channels for posting music, posting memes, cat videos, things like that. And there's multiple voice chat channels. And I even added a bot to play trivia in a chat channel and a cool bot to listen to music together. So we can have control of the music playlist. We can add songs, remove songs, and we can all listen to music together, which is very cool. And we even have a voice channel for movie night that uses a Netflix Together, which is a Chrome extension. So everyone has to watch. Everyone has to have a Netflix account, and then they watch Netflix in a Chrome browser. And the extension lets us sync up our start time. So if someone presses play, it plays the video for everyone. If anyone pauses, it pauses for everyone. So that's a great way to watch videos together. And we even have a voice channel so that you can jump in and heckle at the screen if you want and make comments. So that's my quick quarantine update. And let's go ahead and move on to the video. This video is going to be all about how versus why and asking the right questions when learning to code or when learning anything at all. So let's go ahead and full screen Steven's video here. This is my coworker Steven. He's going to share his thoughts on how versus why. Let me go ahead and change the scene. And here we go.
I want you to notice the box on the left.
I'm going to pause there. If you're new, I will be pausing often and making comments. Steven's asking us to notice this box on the left. And just before this, Steven wrote some things into a box and it renders something out below. But I want to take a moment to explain this thing on the right. This is a piece of software called OBS, Open Broadcasting Software. I'm actually using it right now to record my screen and to add these fancy logos and frames and to do the picture-in-picture thing. It's a very cool piece of software if you want to get into video recording or video streaming because it does this all in real time. So let's go ahead and continue.
This window right here. Now, I didn't write this code. The code that I wrote this code.
I'm going to pause there. So the code that I wrote this code. Now that's called metacoding or meta writing. I think I do talk about that a lot back in episode 3. But I want everyone to sort of take note of this because we'll be talking about this in a second. But the idea is Steven's writing code that writes out this other code, and we'll discuss why even do that in a moment.
I wanted to do an episode where I kind of pull back the curtain. Something where I explain what this show is about and why it's so weird. By the end of this episode, I think you'll understand why. Coding education all the way through college is about the how. How do you code this? How do you code that? How do you code a stack? How do you code a cube? How do you code a graph? How do you code Dijkstra's shortest path algorithm? How do you code...
I'm going to go ahead and pause there. Steven brings up a good point. Yeah, traditionally we talk about how to do something or something. Someone teaches us how to do something and then we practice it a couple times and we try doing it on our own. Typical way to learn something. For example, let's go ahead and look at what Steven did in the background here. This part below here, this is the render of whatever Steven's typing in this box. Now this box above, this is called the admin tool. It's actually a nifty little tool that Steven wrote. And we'll talk about the why of that tool in a second as well. But Stephen went ahead and made this word traditional bold. So if I go back a little bit and think about how Stephen did this, and it's right here. There's some words written here. It has some asterisks. I happen to know that this is a markdown syntax, I believe. And it's actually written in this scribble syntax, which is written in this racket code, or this little racket window. But just looking at this example alone, the word traditional, Stephen
shortest path
puts 2 asterisks before the word and 2 asterisks after the word, and that's how to bold a word in the markdown language, right? And that's a typical thing. Like, how do you do this? Well, you look it up. Oh, that's how, right? So let's go ahead and continue to see what else Stephen has to say.
How do you code an animation? How do you code a web server? How do you code a video game? What is missing is the why.
Let's look back in time.
Yeah, what is missing in the why? So in my example earlier, I mentioned that it was Markdown. So maybe the question is, well, why are we writing in Markdown? Well, why not just, write the word bold out? Or why is it asterisk to do bold? And one answer to that is, well, it's a lot faster to just type 2 asterisks at the beginning and 2 asterisks at the end than to wrap it in parentheses and write the whole word bold or something like that. But let's go on to some other examples or some other questions, like this tool that we're looking at here. Why did Stephen even write this tool? Why is he even using this tool? And maybe to answer that question, we need to ask another question. Well, what problem does it solve? And I'm a coder, so I know that typically when I want to say I want to render a web page or some web server or something like that, I would write out some code in an editor and then save it, and then open up a terminal, maybe deploy the website so that I can open it up in a local host and see what it looks like. And that's the development cycle. And then I would see, the output here. Oh, it's got decent amount of space, but maybe I want more space. So then I have to go back into the editor and modify it, redeploy it, and open up the browser and refresh and see my changes. So that's a typical dev cycle process. And so maybe Stephen thought, well, this whole process just takes way too long. Sometimes you just want to see your results right away. So Stephen wrote this nifty little tool here that lets him write code, and then it immediately renders the output, and we can see exactly what that code does. And we can see here, there's this video clip here, and it's in a card, and the card has a body. So these little boxes are called cards, and in a second we'll see there's little videos below. So that's the why. Why did Stephen write this tool? To speed up the development cycle so that we can, and you can even ask, well, why speed up the development cycle? So we can, pump out this content faster, or to pump out these changes faster. Why do that? Because we need to change the way what we teach as soon as possible, because we're all quarantined here. And you can keep asking these why questions, and that is a good, those are the good questions to ask. So another thought process, I told you to keep it in mind before, but why even write in this meta coding style or this meta writing? Why not just write the HTML JavaScript directly? And you can come up with your own reasons why. I'll kind of give you what I thought of. One is maybe this other language is simpler than the HTML JavaScript that it writes. So we don't have to think about the complex language if we can just write in the simple language, and then we can write more things or write quicker, things like that. Another reason is that maybe this higher level language has access to more things, or maybe it can write this code out in different ways. And in this case, it does have access to the database, which if we wrote direct HTML JavaScript, it wouldn't have access to that. Another reason is maybe we're just more comfortable writing in this other language. Maybe I'm not that great with JavaScript and HTML, but I do know a lot of Racket, and maybe I'm better at writing in this language. Those are the 3 reasons I can think of. Maybe you can think of more. Anyhow, let's go ahead and see what else Stephen has to say.
To what I wrote on March 17th. They ordered the bars in San Diego to close today. I've actually arrayed all of the footage that I took in tiles. For example, here, I was feeding my cat. Let's watch.
Who doesn't like cat videos?
Hey, kitty. Yeah, what do you want?
She does this every morning. Every single morning.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and stop there. That'll be the end of part 1. We'll continue this video in part 2. So if you're watching this on Udemy, there'll be some assignments for you below. For everyone else, thanks for tuning in and see you in part 2.